Once again.
Jimmy here from Riley's Autos. Today we're coming to look at a Nissan Qashqai. It's got a diesel smell in the cab. Just getting some tools that we need to have a look inside. Here's the car. So when she's driving, she's smelling fuel, diesel fuel inside the cab. Just gonna get the engine cover off, and then we're faced with a secondary engine cover. Needs some 10mm bolts and clips, but we're gonna have to get this boost pipe off first. So down there's a clip which will take this off, and you got some bolts clamping it, supporting it in place there, so we'll get those off. First is the 7mm here. You can pull that off. Just keep your Jubilee clip inside. Over here is a 10mm. Get that out. Then we can go down to our clip down here. We just need to persuade it out. Then you can pull that out. So basically how that works is you just pull this clip which releases it from inside, and you can pull it off. So now we've got some 10mm bolts. Well, we've got one here and another one here. Then the front are just clips. So those bolts are out. Got a little bit of, you can pull it out, but it's catching on this sensor here, so you don't want to damage that, so we'll take that bolt out as well. Just move that aside. Still a little bit tight. So we're going to remove this 7mm. Once we've loosened this 7mm, got another 10mm here again on a support bracket. So now that bolts out, we can just twist it around. So you can lift it up and twist it. But it's a good idea to have this loose as well, so we've got both sides of the clips loose. But even though it's loose, sometimes you just need to break the seal. It's giving it a little bit of a twist. Now we can pull this back a little bit. Just rest it to the side there. Now it should come out easy. Bit of a pain to get that cover off. We're having a look across. We've got some oil here. There's a strong smell of fuel, so if you go along here to this one, it's wet, and it would definitely be coming from the leak off pipe here. You've got little seals on the end here, little clips. Hopefully I've got some of them in the van. We're going to have a look. I've got them in a pack somewhere. we go. Would be one of these little O-rings. Go on the end of these leak off connectors there, just like that. So we're going to look at taking off her old one. These are injector, copper injector seals, and this is the clip that's holding in the leak off pipe to the injector. Pull out that clip. I'm just going to put it there. So we've just pulled it out with our little pick here, and we're just going to wiggle this leak off pipe to get it out. If you go to Nissan's, they would want to sell you this complete leak off section, which would probably be over £100 in parts, and fair few £100 altogether when you add your labour up. So I'm just going to pull this out. Now we've got that out. You can see this little rubber ring here. It's just sort of flattened out and it loses its seal. Doesn't give a good seal anymore, so we're just going to pull that off. There we have it. We'll just use our little pick here to get that off. Here we've got one of our seals from the pack. It looks slightly bigger. Hopefully this one has just shrank. Otherwise we've got the wrong size. But these are the only ones we've got, so we're just going to see if that fits. So just put some grease on the plastic there just to make it slide in and hopefully stop it from ripping the rubber seal. So that's pushed in. Now we've just pushed back in our retaining clip here, and we'll start the engine and see if we're still getting a leak. So we're just going to put all of these pipes back on, and we're going to leave this cover off, this middle one, just so we can see if the fuel is still leaking or not. So this big pipe just pushes back into place and you'll hear a click. The pipe goes back on here, and then we can just retighten our Jubilee clip. So we've got our boost hoses back on, injectors all back together, and we're going to start the car, see if it's leaking. We've sprayed some brake cleaner on here just to dry it up, so you can see it looks relatively dry at the minute, so we'll notice if it gets wet again. We're just going to hold it on a few revs for a minute and let it idle for 4 or 5 minutes just to make sure, and recheck if there's any fuel leaking. So we've had the car running for about 10 or 15 minutes and it all seems to be good, so problem's all sorted, all done and finished here. Within half an hour we've diagnosed the problem, found it, fixed it and replaced the parts, so it's job all done.